So my name's Jamie. I'm from the UK and I live in Italy. Well, I think I got to my mid-20s, so I was about 25, and I was just really clear I needed something beyond, something else, the kind of life I had. I had a job, I had friends, I had a fun kind of life, and it just felt empty, really. So I just felt a real need to connect with myself on a different level, and to find, yeah, a feeling of finding something, That's, or looking for something. Yeah. Well, so my mother had started this, she'd started meditating years before, and also my sisters too. So I didn't have to look very far for kind of the answer. I didn't have to go searching in lots of places. And I finally, when I was 25, I had the chance I spent a few months working. I was away by myself. I was in hotels, traveling and working. And so I just had space. I had time by myself, away from London, away from my friends. And every day I could sit and really just have this experience of meditation and of quietness inside myself. And yeah, and it kept me going for a long time. Yeah, for a long time. I think I've always felt a strong connection with nature. So actually some of my best, here's the lightning and thunder and the rain's going to come, and we're here in the greenery. And so I always felt that was a nice place for me to meditate, outside in the mountains or at the sea or doing these things. So I find it something I can access in those, maybe sometimes better like that, instead of sitting down inside, like this, more spontaneous, more outside in the nature. And I think just a feeling of, a feeling of connection and just not being so busy with my thoughts, that's what I really enjoyed. Well, I could tell you that I sit and I meditate and I feel this coolness and everything amazing. It's not really like that most of the time. Very occasionally, a few times in my whole life, in the last 25 years, I've felt something really powerful. But even just for a few seconds, even just for a couple of seconds, a feeling of something just awakening inside, and a feeling of, a real feeling of blissfulness and peace. But it's difficult. I find it really difficult. I have a very busy job. I have lots of things going on in life, and so it's not a state I'm able to reach as often as I'd like, or probably as I should. But it keeps me, it keeps me going. I know it feels like something something to keep reaching after. Yeah. Well, I think I first started coming into the collective because I met people around my own age in my 20s who had something. I could see something. I sensed they had something that I definitely didn't, and something that my other friends didn't have either, which was an ability to kind of enjoy themselves and be themselves without any pretense, and without a big show, or without playing games, or without using kind of humor or trying to dominate, or subtly, without doing any of those things. So first of all, I was impressed by some of the people I met. And then sometimes meditating collectively it's just a nice feeling of whoever we are and wherever we're from. It's like a level, like you turn down everybody's volume, turn down the volume on everybody, and then we're all just like level and just the same. And I think there's something powerful about collective attention too. It can be a real, it can create a space of, it's a different energy that comes alive, and it's an energy that I've been able to benefit from, I think. It's quite selfish, I like meditating collectively because it feels nice. Yeah. Spiritual growth feels like some kind of, it's like a life mission, right? So it's like a journey, spiritual journey, I'd say. And it feels like a mountain, you know, a mountain ahead, and just, you know, if I can somehow every day take a little step further, then and not be pulled down by, you know, the usual worries about money and work and the busyness of life and everything else. And what I love is reading some of the old books. I love reading the old books like the Upanishads and the Dhammapada and the Bhagavad Gita, because it feels like a connection, that spiritual growth, that thirst inside all of us, which is a very kind of, I'd say primordial. It's been there for thousands of years, like a silver golden thread that joins us all up, and people have been on this journey for so many generations and so many centuries. So it feels like joining that, as if there's a whole line of people. You know, William Blake, some of his paintings look like this. Lots of people on their way somewhere to some place of lightness and yeah, just freedom from all the constructs, all the conditionings that we grow up with. The craziness of this world, right? We live in a crazy flipping world at the moment, and so finding some way to, you know, another path or a way through that, or a way around it or over it, you know, that feels just super important for me, for all of us somehow. Well, I remember the first time I met Srimataji, I was about 18, and my sister she was in the UK. Srimataji was arriving at Heathrow Airport, and all the Saj Yogis were there. There were lots of people who knew Srimataji. They were all together, and I was not part of the collective. I wasn't like in the whole UK collective thing. And Srimataji came down from the plane on the steps, and there was a big crowd of people. Everyone had their flowers. They were giving her flowers, and she was accepting the flowers, and she was making her way to her car. So there was like a line of people, and she was walking slowly in the middle, and everyone was giving her flowers. And I was somehow behind and back, and I'd brought a flower, and I didn't feel to push in or give my flower, so I just stood there, and I was by myself, kind of watching this whole scene. And then Srimataji got to her car, and the door was open, and she was about to get into the car, and then she looked up, like over and she did this in my direction, and I kind of looked, and there was nobody. There was just me. There was just me there, and she, you know, she beckoned me, and I came forward, and I gave her my flower. And at that time, I think I felt very separate in myself also. You know, as a young man, I felt quite cynical, quite kind of alone, quite, you know, nobody can touch me. And there she was, welcoming me in, and she took my flower and gave me a lovely smile. So that was my first time I met Srimataji. I mean, I've got a few treasured memories in Saj Yoga, you know. So one of them is, one of them was after a puja. It was a Navaratri puja, and the UK, and I was in the UK, so we were the hosting country. So anyway, I was close to the stage, and I was never one of like the pujaris or the people who go. That wasn't my thing. I was more background. And anyway, after the puja, everyone was singing, and Srimataji was there on the stage, and they were singing Mahamaya Makali, and the whole hangar was just going off. You know, there's like, whatever, 2,000-3,000 people, and this crazy energy, and this incredible, you know, all of the musicians and the music kind of playing, and people were on the stage, and they were dancing around Srimataji, and it was all like this, the energy was extraordinary, like a lightning, like a thunderstorm, you know. And I was standing by myself on the side of the stage, and suddenly Srimataji leaned forward in her chair, and she looked, and again, I was the only person there. There was nobody else there. And she looked, and the feeling I had that she was transmitting, it was just like, this is it, this is it. It was like she was like this diamond in the middle of all this energy, and she was in total, like the stillness in the middle of the storm, just sitting like this, shining so brightly. And I'll never forget that. What else can I share? I had, after some years, I used to do lots of work with young people, and anyway, through various reasons, I was asked to go to Dharamshala school to help run the school there. And at this time, Srimataji wasn't talking, so it was Sir CP. I dealt with Sir CP, who invited me to go to the school. And you know, it was funny, and some people were saying, oh, this, you know, amazing chance, and other people, oh, but did Shrimati ask you to go, and what, you know, there's all this confusion, you know, but I was really clear. It felt like, yeah, this is what we need to do, and so I immediately said yes, and we packed up everything and left. Like 10 days later, we were on a plane to India, and my girls were very small. One was 3 and one was just 3 months old, and it just felt like that was what we needed to do next. And anyway, going to the school, it was quite a, I'd say it was quite a lonely experience to begin with, because the idea was that I would come and kind of decide somehow what needed to change, or, you know, I'd help to improve some things that had become a bit problematic there. And anyway, one night I had a dream, and the dream I had was that I was there was a car coming, and it was Shrimati's car, and she was in the car with CP, and I was on here, and there was a field, and I ran across the field to where the car was, and the back door of the car opened, and someone got out and left, and it was a Saj Yogi who got out and left, and I got into the car, and Shrimati was sitting there, and she kind of waved me in, and she put my head on her lap, you know, like a baby, and she just stroked my head, and I felt like a depth of a kind of being held that I'd never even experienced in my life with my own mother, who loved me. You know, she loves me a lot, so I've got a great relationship with my own mother, luckily. But with Shrimati, it was like a depth of just being held by her, and it was really powerful, and it's what I needed to do that job as well. So that was really, really wonderful, a great blessing. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is to listen to what's inside, and I think all of us have got a little voice, and if we don't listen to that voice very much, it can shrink and shrink and shrink until you can't hear it anymore. And if there's a little voice that tells you that you should try meditating, then listen to it. And if that voice tells you you should get up super early in the morning, or you should, you know, take a walk outside, or whatever, that's the voice that you should listen to, because we've all got the answers inside. And so I'd say that. And apart from that, I'd say, you know, people say meditate in the evening, but don't get too tired, because if you're too tired, it doesn't work. So I think it's creating space, and it's listening to the little voice. It's like a little hungry, you know, it just wants to experience that peace that's available in meditation. So that'll keep you right on how many times and when and what to do. Yeah, that's my feeling. I always find music, you know, music is such a good way for me personally. And, you know, the big thing, what's hard about meditation, it's kind of stopping thinking, right? At least for me, stopping thinking. So people, how do I stop thinking? How do I stop thinking? And I find musical bird songs really powerful for that as well, even sounds of nature. But I sometimes imagine it like the sound is like a pencil line that's being drawn on the page, and the moment of the note being played is like where the pencil is, the very leading edge. And it's like nothing else that's come behind matters, and nothing else that's to come matters. So it's somehow listening to that music and being at the very edge of what's going to come next, and just being in the present, like listening to birdsong as well. And or even any song, even the traffic if you can, but just there. So sound, I think, is an important way for me to do that, like rain on the roof or something. You just tune into being in the present moment, and then suddenly you find that you're not thinking about anything, and then that's it. That's it. Yeah. And here, you know, attention here, that's a good one as well. You know, just attention here and not thinking. Yeah.